Hi, I'm Alex Starr and I am doing a video blog series. I am going to be doing these vlogs on a variety of topics such as sports, music, and anime. I am doing these vlogs as practice for future careers in public speaking and narration. It's going to be an interview format where people ask me questions and I answer them, and a little bit of my background. I was in the Miracle League of Michigan for 10 years. This helped fuel my love of sports more than it already was fueled. I've I've been watching Sports Center since I was like 5, so yeah, I'm kind of a sports geek. Um, I just recently have gotten into ESports, such as the Simulation Football League. Why esports is an alternative to traditional sports is you've got people with disabilities that can't play traditional sports, or people that just don't play sports into these alternatives. Why esports is an alternative to traditional sports is the millennials are more into their technology and streaming stuff than they are the traditional sports now. So broadcast companies like Turner Broadcasting have caught on and are willing to broadcast the League of Legends World Championships on TV. And if you're thinking, why would they broadcast something like this? Simple. Ratings. Correction. I just saw when I was doing a Google search that BBC is going to be covering the League of Legends World Championships. And you know what really drives me up a wall? When these national broadcasters don't put any energy into their broadcasts. I'm tired of hearing guys like Doc Emmerich and Eddie Olczyk sound like robots instead of people. I'm just tired of that. And why I'm doing this vlog is to get the word out that esports are an actual thing. Because the more we get the word out, the more popular it becomes, and the more people will watch it. Continuing my rant on esports not being respected as an actual sport, one of the things that I would really want moving forward for these networks to realize, or for these networks to do, is, for example, the Simulation Football League is doing a pregame, halftime, and a postgame show for all their games this year. I would like esports to be covered within that same kind of a mainframe like traditional sports. And plus, some networks have a weekly wrap-up show. My suggestion to Cameron Irvine of the SFL moving forward is for me to possibly host an SFL recap show with him, just to get the presentation moving forward in a way that I want. So back to the esport topic. When I said in my earlier video that esports should be covered in the same way as traditional sports, here's what I mean. I want a sports center type show for esports where it shows like and this is a recommendation for SFL too, a recap show where somebody is doing a voiceover and is recapping all the action that went on, kind of like Sports Center does. I want in the future, particularly for SFL, I know they have real-time stat tracking because of their partnership with DAX which that's another thing I want for esports moving forward is actual stat tracking, because I'm a stats geek. And as well, another thing that I would want for SFL in particular, I would want a top 10 plays type show for SFL in particular, because that's really the only esport I know and participate in. I mean, you could easily have during the post-game show, here's our top 10 plays of today's game, and then replay the calls. I also like the idea of, in the off-season, Cameron talked about possibly getting multiple broadcasters for his network, because I know some people, like a buddy of mine, actually broadcast games for his high school. So I would like to get together with him and possibly do like a SFL recap show where we play the highlights and stuff. Moving on from that, I think esports in general have got to do a better job of interacting with their audience, so it's the most immersive experience possible, which is one of the things I like about SFL, is he actually talks to us in the chat. He wants the most immersive experience possible. He wants us to feel like we're in the game, watching our performance, watching his or listening to our teams on the radio. And another thing I want for SFL in the future is to have multiple studio analysts, if you can do it, like a panel. That would just bring the immersion to a whole nother level. I don't care if you've got to do it on a Skype call or whatever you got to do. just do it. It would make the experience much better for fans like myself that are addicted to this league like a drug. In general, I think the state of esports is actually looking really, really good, and it's getting more and more popular by the second. Like, for example, SFL almost has 100 followers on Twitch, which is incredible. And they need at least 100 followers and 30 to 50 viewers per broadcast to get a Twitch partnership, which a lot of the esport streamers already have. And I know there's also been talk about esport commentators actually getting sports visas. But since the government doesn't consider esports an actual thing, which I am calling malarkey on that. And as I said in my previous video segments on esports, you've got some of the disabled population that is really big into sports. Like, I've got a buddy of mine that's in to SFL as a coordinator, and to anybody that has not checked the SFL out, I will, again, as I've mentioned earlier, put the link in the description for it. And the SFL is also going to have multiple games at the same time, which when I heard that, I was like, okay, how in the heck are you going to pull this off? So when I saw the game day tab, I was like, wow, you actually can pull this off? I was just shocked when I saw that, because that's going to bring more people to the league, because it's a true game day experience. Because like in the NFL has a block of like 5 games that are happening at the same time on any given Sunday. And on playoffs, it's even more prevalent. And another thing I want in general, I want esports to be getting more partnerships in general. Like, I know Coca-Cola is sponsoring an esport team now. I want companies like Mars sponsoring them. It's basically free advertising. And I want more esports to be using sports video games, because I heard on a TGN top 10 video that people that play sports video games are more likely to play that specific sport. And as I mentioned in a previous video, the lack of national media coverage ticks me off, because it's just a way for esports like the Simulation Football League to get even more exposure than they usually do. Although the one thing that the Simulation Football League does better than any other esport is interacting with the chat. Cam will literally interact with the chat every time he goes live. And if you guys have not caught an SFL game yet, go to twitch.tv/simulationfl and listen to some of the archived game broadcasts because they are phenomenal. Thank you for watching this eSport rant. My next video will be talking about why I think people with disabilities should be employed and some of the economic benefits of it. And this will also be in a playlist so you can watch all the episodes at your leisure. See you next time.